Okay, now we welcome on Tyler Dragon from the Cincinnati Enquirer. You can get all of his Bengals coverage at cincinnati.com. Tyler, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to this podcast. I follow you guys' work, and you guys do a great job of covering the Browns in Cleveland.
Tell us about Joe Burrow, what that debut was like, and what are you expecting in this big matchup between these two number one picks?
Well, it was an up and down performance from Joe Burrow. He actually gave himself a D for his performance. I gave him a C, so I wasn't as critical as himself. He threw a costly interception that landed right in Melvin Ingram's hands. It was kind of a rookie mistake. And then he had an overthrow to A.J. Green that would have been a 31-yard touchdown. So those are two critical plays that he definitely would like back. But he put his team in position to win the game. The Bengals were in the red zone with under 10 seconds left. He threw a touchdown pass to A.J. Green, but that was nullified by offensive pass interference. And then the Bengals had a game-tying field goal attempt at the very end, and Randy Bullock missed it wide right. He says that his calves tightened up. I think it's a little bit of excuse, but that's what he said. He was actually on the injury report, and he's going to be available this week against the Browns. Cincinnati fans, that's their savior right now is Joe Burrow. He has the keys to the franchise, and he's already the face of the franchise. And, you know, Cincinnati is kind of known as a Reds town, but Joe Burrow is the most popular athlete in Cincinnati right now.
Wow, so exciting. I just think that the quarterback landscape in the AFC North right now is so intriguing. I think it's one of the best quarterback divisions in all of football. And, you know, it's just, I'm really looking forward to this matchup between these two number one picks. And talk about some of the weapons that Joe Burrow has. I mean, A.J. Green is back, Joe Mixon. I mean, these guys always get up for the Browns.
Yeah, AJ Green had his first game last week since December of 2018, and he actually led the Bengals in receiving yards and catches. And then, as you mentioned, they have a lot of other receivers at Joe Burrow's disposal, and Tyler Boyd, John Ross, and their second-round pick, T. Higgins. So I expect them to utilize those receivers, but don't forget about Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon killed the Browns last year, especially in the season finale. He had 162 yards. That was his career high. He likes to match up against the Browns, and I expect the Bengals to utilize him a lot in the backfield.
Yeah, he had his two biggest rushing performances of his career, I believe, last year against the Browns. So he's had big days. And, you know, he had that fumble too. And I know he's looking to kind of make amends for the fumble he had in that last game.
You know, when I look at the injury report, I see one big name that is a guy that's always had big games against the Cleveland Browns, and that's Geno Atkins. And, you know, to see that he's out in this game, I think that's a big break for the Browns, because it just seems like he brings it strong every single time he plays against Cleveland. So what impact will that have? And then what do you think this defense can do after watching that film of Baker Mayfield and the game that he had and the disconnect that he had with Odell? What do you see as the defensive prospects against Baker and his guys?
Yeah, without Geno Atkins, that's going to be a huge blow for the Bengals defense. And you saw it last week when he missed week one. The Chargers rushed for 155 yards on the Bengals. And I expect the Browns to take advantage of no Geno Atkins. And not to mention him, but their second string defensive tackle, Mike Daniels, is also out with an injury. So I expect Christian Covington to get the start, but he's no Geno Atkins. He's an 8-time Pro Bowler for a reason. So with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt back there, I expect them to have a good performance against the Bengals, because the Bengals defense, they really struggle against the run. They were ranked last in all of football last year against the run, and they started off this season just the same, giving up 155 yards. So that's the Browns' advantage this week. So I expect them to run the ball a lot. I know that does not make Odell Beckham happy, but if I were the Browns, I would run the football early and often. Yeah, I asked a couple players if they have a psychological advantage because of their last game against the Browns in that season finale. And they pretty much said yes. Their last time they went up against Cleveland, even though it was here in Cincinnati, they came away with the win. So that was a good taste that left in their mouths at the end of the season. They think that can carry over in week 2 of this year, especially when you have Joe Mixon having 308 yards in 2 games versus the Browns. And that defense played pretty well against Baker Mayfield too. Mayfield was intercepted 5 times. Darius Phillips had 2 of those interceptions against the Browns. So I do expect them to be confident going up against the Browns. However, I have the Browns winning the game.